Go. So anyway, here we are.
Welcome to episode 4.
That was my job.
Oh, sorry. I thought you wanted me to do it.
Oh, God, I'll tell you what, he thinks he's the boss at times. He really does. Anyway, yes. Welcome to episode 4 of the Fire Talk, the podcast for Fire Safety Stick. Here we have Sergio and myself,
And
Andrew.
we have Andrew.
And I think we might even have a special guest later on, as if by magic.
We will.
More on that story later. So anyway, here we are. I think it's about the 4th week in on January at the moment as we record this.
This is.
It's been a busy year already, hasn't it?
It has. It's a busy start, which is good. We've got a manic year ahead of us. I don't even know how I'm going to fit it all in.
Well, we'll manage. We'll manage. So,
building up the staff.
Exactly.
We've got a new starter.
Exactly.
This year. Welcome to James.
James. In fact, funnily enough, it's actually his birthday on the day of recording this.
Yes, it is.
So we supplied him with a bit of cake, maybe, just to keep him happy. But yeah, he's busy helping in the warehouse.
Yes. So he was going to say he's getting all the orders out, which is a busy task, which is good. But really nice guy. So hopefully we'll kind of start bringing him into some of the socials. He's a bit shy at the moment.
Yeah.
So
we'll coach him into it.
Yeah, we'll coach him into it.
But I have to say, I think since the last recording, obviously that was on the run up to Christmas, and we were expecting, January is going to be really, really quiet. Not at all. No. The demand and the interest in the fire safety has been crazy. It really has.
Really interesting phone calls from some really interesting companies that
we can't say.
I can't say, and it blows my mind. That was who I was talking to.
I know.
Which is just phenomenal. As I said, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I'm hoping they will actually let us talk about it. Because if they did, my God, it will just literally just...
We've got some really exciting sort of clients sort of bubbling under at the moment, which again, we can't give any names away yet, but these are going to be really exciting rollouts for it. But this one is another level.
Oh yeah, completely.
It really is. Anyway, so we stopped teasing about that. So shows, we're still doing a few shows this year. We've got a really big one, which is the Caravan Camping and Motorhome Show at the NEC, again, our spiritual home. Coming up in a few weeks' time. So I'm going to talk a bit more about that a bit later on. But we've even actually been to, again, back to our spiritual home earlier, a couple of weeks ago, to the Autosport International Show at the NEC. Now, that was great.
Last time we were there, 2019.
Yes.
So we had 5 distributors. So it was great for us to have our distributors all there in working alongside each other.
Yeah.
It was good. You got some interviews, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'd say it was good because actually, most of the obviously distributors we've got a long-term relationship with, and it's great. But actually, some of them, especially the guys coming from Ireland and Scotland, what have you, we actually haven't actually met. So it was great.
Spoken to a lot of them.
Yes.
But over the phone, it's different when you actually get to meet them in person, which was good.
But yeah, it was a great show, and in fact. All those distributors, there's one that we had a chat with a bit more detail, we spoke to them, all of them, but Rob Brooks from Clubman Motorsport, so looking after rally. So in fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, I'm going to insert a quick clip from Rob now, followed by Martin Fox, who is another rally guy, just a competitor who actually had a fire with a fire safety. We've already covered it in one of our reviews, or testimonials from before, but it was great to have a chat with him and actually really understand exactly what happened with the fire. So I think that was quite important there. Here we've got Rob from Clubman Motorsport, again another one of our key distributors, the fire safety, really influential in the motorsport side of things. So how's it been going so far then, Rob?
Yeah, lots and lots of public here. It's about the quietest we've actually had the stand, actually, so you picked the right time for that, but obviously we couldn't get a conversation earlier on.
Well, we came over a couple of times, it's just been so busy, we've not had a chance to, so that's why we're coming back a bit quieter sort of after lunch, really.
Yep.
But again, sales going well with the fire safety stick?
Yeah, very well so far this year. Well, not this year, but last 12 months. A great product, lovely and compact for the shelves.
Yeah.
It's the incremental purchase.
Yeah, exactly. Well, also we've had so many instances where you actually had customers who unfortunately have had fires, but fortunately had the fire safety stick with them and saved the cars basically.
And you think about Steve and Daryl with the incident they had, because we'd had the fire at the previous Lecken field. The organisers asked us, can we do a demonstration? Showed the guys how to use them. Stevens, Darrell had a fire, immediately knew exactly what to do, put the fire out so quickly, minimal damage.
Yeah, exactly. So this was great. And there's stories like that that help let everybody else know about the fire safety and why it's really needed for the rally cars and all sorts of motorsport guys as well, really. So it's been great.
And the marshals that we've been giving them to the marshals. We had the guy at Twyford Woods, car sets on fire. The marshal ran maybe quarter of a mile or passed it somebody who ran quarter of a mile because they're so compact. Managed to get them to the car. Still had the ability to actually activate it. You can't do that with a normal fire extinguisher.
No, it's been great, so it's good. So, well, thanks again, okay, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers, Rob, thanks. Hi, well, we're actually here on the Clubman Motorsport stand. He's one of our distributors for the fire safety stick. And I'm actually here with Martin. And Martin Fox here actually had a fire in his Porsche Cayman during a rally stage. So with the fire stick. So what actually happened with the fire?
Basically, the engine at that time just decided to make a loud screaming noise and destroyed itself. I didn't realise the car was on fire, and we slowly came to a halt on the circuit, pulled aside, and it was only then when we realised there was smoke coming inside the cockpit, and we realised it was on fire. So we quickly dived out and grabbed the fire stick. Which I'd only for the first time put in the car that day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Up until then, it had been in the toolbox at home.
Yeah. So, I'm trying to think, because the thing about it being in the Cayman, whereabouts was the fire?
The fire was on one of the two catalytic converters.
Right.
Which behind the rear wheels. So it's fortunate that I was able to lie on the floor once I'd ignited the stick. And I was able to point it directly onto the catalytic converter, which was like very severely on fire. Like some big flames.
Had it been a pad or a foam extinguisher, would that have got to that area?
I wouldn't have been able to get a handheld extinguisher anywhere near the area because the car's fairly low. And the fire on the catalytic converter was immediately behind the tyre, so it would have been very hard. The front of the tyre as well. So it was very hard to get at, and a handheld extinguisher wouldn't have even gone past that point.
So if that was the case, you basically could have lost the car completely.
I think I felt myself that at the time the car was like seconds away from being a complete loss, but the safety stick completely put the flames out, and then they did actually reignite initially, but it was such a long burn from the stick. I was able to have another go at it and it extinguished it.
Good. Well, obviously, great that we managed to save the day for you and what have you.
Put it this way, I've got 3 of those now. A replacement one and 2 more, and I have one of them in motorhome. And we've been trying to encourage other people to get them in the motorhomes.
Good, I appreciate that.
Another area where they can be very useful.
No, excellent. That's great. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Cheers. Thanks.
Cheers. See you later.
Back in the room.
There we go. Yes, exactly. So I think it was good to know, especially the fact that the fire safety stick was able to get to the parts that other extinguishers can't reach. So that was a great one. Anyway,
been working on that one.
Oh, exactly. So obviously we've got the caravan camping and motorhome show coming up at the NEC. So we've got a lot to get prepared for that.
Yes, we have. I've got to get I'm hoping to get a demonstration mocked up of a typical potential fire hazard in a caravan, which is the gap between the fixed fridge and the outside where you've got the vents. So we're gonna try and replicate that and actually show people, look, what the vents on the side would do for a traditional extinguisher. Give them some tips, some safety tips on what to do in that event of a fire. So that will be good. Just trying to get it made up as we are speaking.
Yes, exactly. So and obviously running up to a show is always a really busy time for us getting prepared for it. You're going on holiday for a week beforehand, aren't you?
Yes, Andrew, I am. I'm going skiing. Half term. It's half term. Kids half term. Got to take the kids away. Going skiing.
I feel as though I've been set up on this one, but never mind.
I'm coming back, and we're going to the show.
Exactly.
I could have actually extended it for 2 weeks and said, "Oh, Andrew, you're doing it by yourself," or one of the two. No. I enjoy doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, talking of that show, I think it would be great to hear from a little bit of a celebrity from the show, a regular, well known in the caravan and motorhome field and what have you. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll do a bit of magic here and see if I can swap Serg for Cat, Wandering Bird. So let me give that a go. Oh, no.
I'm still here.
Oh, let's try again.
Ta-da!
And as if by magic, here I am joined by Cat.
Hello.
Cat, Wandering Bird.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Brilliant. We've had a fantastic day today.
We have.
Okay.
We have.
First, I'm going to do a confession, actually. This is take 2. I forgot to press record a minute ago.
It
won't
was so
mention
good
that.
as well.
Oh, it was the best one. So
This is just a tribute.
Yeah, we're going to build up to it. It's going to build up. Anyway, first, introduce yourself.
I'm Kat from Wandering Bird. I run the motorhome travel website Wandering Bird, and I have a YouTube channel and Instagram and Facebook and all these other fun things.
Brilliant, brilliant. So, motorhomer life, or life motorhomer life, lives in motorhome basically.
I do, yeah.
Okay, great knowledge for you. We've got the NEC show, the Caravan Camping and Motorhome show coming up.
We do.
In a few weeks' time.
We do.
You're going to be a busy lady at that, aren't
I
you?
am going to be. I'm doing a talk on the inspiration stage every day about touring in a motorhome in Germany.
Yeah.
Focusing specifically on one of my favourite areas in Germany, which is Bavaria and the Black Forest,
Mm-hmm.
and going down the castle, down to like Neuschwanstein Castle,
Okay.
and possibly even the Eagle's Nest, all the way down in the
Oh,
south
really?
east
Oh, that'll
of
be,
Germany.
yeah,
I
an
love
interesting one.
that whole
Okay.
route down there.
Yeah.
Magic. And then I'm also talking about touring with your dog and taking your dog anywhere really, but mainly
Right.
to Europe from the UK because
Yeah.
of the rules and the regulations. And also tips for travelling with a dog because they do affect the way that you
Yes.
travel and tour.
Yeah.
So sharing that, and then I will be on the advice centre for a couple of hours each day.
Okay, so what's happening in the advice centre then?
Changes day to day.
Okay.
They've got me going. I've got
Yeah.
like a little timetable.
Oh, really?
I literally do.
Quite tight.
Yeah, it is.
But it's great because obviously that's somewhere where people that are visiting the show can come along and ask advice
Yes.
on how should I do this, what's your best way of doing it, what's your experience.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not just yourself, I think you've got a whole team there
Yeah,
as well.
so
haven't
there
you?
will be various different, they use the word experts. I don't like the word expert, but there will be various different people on there who have got different knowledge. So
Okay.
don't come and ask me anything about electrics,
Okay.
because I don't get it.
More on that story in a minute.
Yes, but there will be people there who do.
Right.
So, and then there will be people like myself who can talk to you about planning trips or buying vans
Yeah.
and things to look for and all of those different aspects.
Okay.
So there should be 2 or 3 different experts
Okay.
on at once, so that there
Right.
will be somebody with a different type of knowledge.
Yes.
And that's just really nice. It's a really nice place that you can come and ask questions of
Yes.
people who've got some inside knowledge in the
And
industry.
that's good because obviously I think you're going to have a bit of a busy time at the NEC this time around, aren't you?
Yes, I am. With all the different shows and
Yeah.
all the different stages I'm on and things. And also, I want to come and do some stuff. There's a few people speaking on the stage that I really want to go and
Yes.
see. And then there's various different people I want to chat to and
Yeah.
things. So, yeah.
I only say because I think, and that not just that one show, but you're actually doing some other shows during the year as well.
Yeah, I'm doing quite a few. So I'm doing a lot of work with Warner shows.
Okay, yes.
And they tend to do a show every month or every other month.
Yes.
And I can't do all of them because I'm travelling myself. But I'm, which ones am I going to forget them now? Peterborough.
Yeah.
Shepton Mallet, which is in September.
Okay.
And they've got a new one out called Campervan Camp Out, which is
Okay.
in May.
Right.
And Campervan Camp Out is going to be much less of a traditional show. Here's a range of vans and merch,
Yes.
spend money.
Yeah.
And more of almost like a festival.
Okay.
So they're encouraging people to come for the weekend, and it's going to be you'll have some people from say YouTube and other bloggers and vloggers who are going to be sharing their stories
Yeah.
and their insights. And also they've got a wellness and health area.
Okay.
I'm going to be doing a bit of talk with a couple of other people who travel alone.
Yeah.
Or do a lot of time on their own. Things like mental health
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. So it's more a bit about living the life rather than encouraging you to spend
That sounds
money.
good, and also I think it's much more informal because I think
Yes.
with the NEC, obviously you're doing talks which is great and informative in the advice centre, but of course it's still very much a great big show
Yes.
of those vehicles. It's
Yeah.
a sales show of the merchandise.
Yeah.
But I think here, and obviously you're so busy there, so you don't even get a chance to talk to many people there anyway.
No.
Whereas things like the Warner show, this one
Yeah.
you're saying there, is that you actually will be a bit more free time,
Yes.
not free time, but you'll be there chatting to people a bit more informally and what have you,
Yeah.
and it'd be great to get a real vibe for the show.
Yeah, I love the NEC show, and there's 2 a year, and I
Yeah.
really love the energy, and I love meeting the people, and I think the whole atmosphere is brilliant.
Yes.
And the February one is slightly different vibe, slightly more camping, but it's
Yeah.
a really good start to the season. I think that's when people are like, we're going to get our vans out of storage.
Yes.
I mean, I live in mine all year, but a lot of people haven't used them, and they start going there to plan stuff, to look for merch, and it's just got the whole spring is coming and we're going to get going again, and I love that energy.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I think the size of it adds to that.
Yes.
Whereas the Warner shows, they're mainly outdoors.
Yeah.
They are a lot smaller.
Yeah.
Not so much in terms of the merch, but the number of vans that come.
You have quite a range of things.
They
there.
do.
Exactly.
They have some really, really good stuff there, but because they're it's more sort of it sounds awful saying in a field. They're not. It's a lot more to it than that. But it's easy. It's more accessible, I think, to go and turn up and see everything.
Yes.
Whereas the NEC show, unless you go for 2 or 3 days, you're not going to see everything. It's impossible.
No.
Whereas the Warner show, you absolutely can.
Absolutely. I was going to say, because I know with the NEC, what we found as well is that people actually do plan their trip to the NEC.
Yes.
So they go for the program and say, yeah, we want to see that, we want to see that. And because we know ourselves, we had so many people came to see us that had already planned to see us based on the guide.
Yeah.
So I think you definitely do have that with it.
Yes.
And I know that, obviously, we're doing obviously the February show coming up, and obviously October one again.
Yeah.
We've done the Warner shows before, and they've been very good. We're hoping not to do them ourselves this year, but our distributors.
Cool.
But I think from what you're saying now, the camp out one does sound an interesting one.
Yeah, I think you
So I
enjoy
think we
that.
might look into that one a bit more actually.
I think you'd enjoy that a lot.
I think that will be definitely a good one. So, so I mean, obviously, you've got some shows planned.
I do. Around all my trips.
Exactly. Okay, so you've got a few trips.
I do. So I'm going to Ireland in March and April for about 6 weeks. I booked the ferry there, but not the ferry back yet.
Okay.
So I'm
Flexibility.
just going to go and figure it out. Me and the dog are going for an adventure.
Yeah.
And then in June, I'm taking a motorhome up to Iceland. So I'm driving all to Denmark.
Right.
And then I'm getting on a ferry going to Iceland that stops at the Faroes. I think it's 2 days on the ferry and you stop at Faroes. Then I've got 2 weeks to go around the ring road, and then I get back.
That's going to be an interesting
I'm really
one.
excited.
No, definitely. So we'll talk about socials in a minute or two, but I think if you're not already following, you need to see some of the, obviously the stories, but the Instagram the images that we have from these tours, they're absolutely amazing. So look at the previous ones.
Yeah.
Talking of previous trips and what have you, obviously we've been doing a lot of bats for fire education and things like that. So tell me, Kat, have you had any experience with fires at all?
Funnily enough that you should ask. Yes, we have. So in 2020, we were stuck in France throughout this whole lockdown thing, and the French government actually, they lifted the restrictions so you could travel within France, you just couldn't cross borders. Okay. So we took advantage and we went all through the French Pyrenees, which is magic. If you've never been, absolutely go. And we also then extended that and went to the Verdon Gorge. Okay. Which is sort of southeast-ish France. And it's like, have you ever been?
I've been that area, but not that specific area, so that sort of region.
You need to go, it's bordered. So it's basically Europe's Grand Canyon.
Okay.
It is stunning, and it's got this incredible gorge with like this turquoise water.
Right.
And it's so vivid, you think it's just bizarre. They think that there's something in the water.
Yeah. It looks like it's been photoshopped.
Basically. Yeah. So every corner we were going around, I was saying to my husband, please stop, I need a photo, please stop. He was going insane. The people asked me how long it took. I was like 3 days because I stopped every 50 metres. But
it would have been half an hour.
It would have been half an hour easily. But one of these, I jumped out, took a photo of the van, and by this point he was like, I'm just staying. You do your thing, I'm staying in the van. So I got back in the van, back in the cab. I can smell smoke.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah. And I've had COVID 6 times. Admittedly, by this point, I think I'd only had it once, maybe twice. Right. But I couldn't really, I didn't have much of a sense of smell before then. I haven't noticed much of a change. But for me to say I can smell smoke was unusual. And he's like, really? And because we were in the cab, we assumed it was the engine or something in the cab, but we couldn't find anything. So we did a bit of investigation, and he's much more technical and electrical savvy than I am. Couldn't find anything. So we drove on for a little bit, 20 minutes or so. And then he was like, oh, no, I can smell smoke. And we eventually traced it to the back of the motorhome, to the fuse box, which was the other side of the fridge.
Right.
And by that point, we had found one of the fuses had melted into the other one and was smouldering. I've got a whole video about it on my YouTube channel.
Yes, okay.
And that was terrifying. So there was a couple of things that came out of that. The first thing was that we had the right size fuse in. So one of our first thoughts was that either us or somebody else, because we bought the van second hand, had put the wrong fuse in. But it turned out that wasn't the case. Right. What we think, and what the guy, we had somebody come and check it all out for us, obviously, when we got back to the UK. What we think had happened was the vibrations of the van, because we take it all down crazy lanes, had somehow worked one of the wires loose, and it was sort of, the connection was creating current, or I'm going to make words that might not be entirely right here.
We'll explain in a minute.
Yeah, but that created such a build-up that it had caused it to melt. Now, we didn't have flames leaping.
No.
But apparently, and you can probably tell me if this is right or not, that if we hadn't caught it and stopped it, it would have created a top of fire.
It sounds like it was that close to it.
Yeah, and it really was. So I found that really scary for a couple of reasons. One is because we have an end lounge, we actually make that up as our bed.
Right.
And that is on top of the fuse box.
Okay.
So if we had not found it, we'd have gone to sleep that night and it would have been on fire underneath our heads, which I find really terrifying.
Yes.
Now, fine, we could smell it, but it
would have been difficult. So.
But the other thing I found quite scary is we hadn't done anything wrong. And I always find it easier to accept responsibility or blame if you've done something wrong. Yeah. But we hadn't.
Because this is a relatively new van.
2017 model, and this was 2020.
It's a professionally built van.
Swift motorhome.
It's not even a self-build.
No.
Okay. As I say, so it's all got the correct gear in there. It's
got proper Sergeant fuse box, everything, and
yet this can still happen.
And it could still happen, and it was purely because a wire had come loose.
Which can easily happen.
Absolutely, and apparently it's happened on many different types of motorhomes, and apparently it's quite a common thing on all different brands and makes of vans.
It's not a particular fault with that van
not
by
at
any
all.
means. It can easily happen.
And I found that, I mean, honestly, for the next couple of weeks, I was checking that fuse box every other second. And the other thing that I found, we travel with a dog, and we don't leave him on his own very often, but occasionally, we pop to the petrol station, or we pop for coffee, or we might leave him half an hour.
Yeah.
If he'd been on his own, locked in the van, and that had gone up, it makes me feel sick to think about it.
I think also from what you're saying there is that because of your location, you're not exactly in a campsite where you've got lots of people to help you.
We weren't on campsite.
If that caught fire, there's nobody out there to help you.
And what I've learned today, which made it even worse, is that our fire extinguisher, I think, came off our last van. Okay. So I don't know the last time that had been serviced, I'll be honest. But also, I've discovered that traditional fire extinguishers, they're built for static buildings.
Yes.
I didn't realise, it didn't even occur to me that putting in a normal red fire, I mean, I've got a 1 kilo powder, I think you said that's what I had. Putting in one of those and then putting the vibrations of the van moving, and then the fact that it hasn't really been taken out and looked at for a little while. And also, I live in it full time, so it was -7 last week. For that temperature difference, it could cause it to clump, which means that it might not work.
Exactly.
And that, you just sort of see this little red box of safety and assume it will work when you need it.
And you're right. So you're a very capable extinguisher, no question about it. But this is why in the vans they do need to be serviced, or at least checked out correctly, because as you say, the power inside can clump together, blocks the mechanism. I mean, people are shocked at the discharge time for a start anyway, and that's also they need to make sure they know how to use it.
That was something else I learned today, didn't know.
So how you use a power extinguisher is different to how you use a foam extinguisher, for example. But you're right, if that's not serviced, that discharge time can basically just come, just a couple of seconds and that's it. And I think that's the thing people need to be aware of. This is why they need to be done. And I'll be honest, we're here to sell a few fire safe sticks, I won't deny it. But you know what? The power extinguishers are still very capable extinguishers, absolutely, providing they're maintained correctly and they know how to use it. And I think that's what we're really keen to do, is actually do more fire safety training education for people. I think we were chatting earlier on about the electrical circuits and the wires and what have you.
That was something, so I mean, you hear that you have to flake out your electric cable and make sure, but I never really understood why. And I've seen the photos of one catching a fire and you think, okay. But actually, when you explained it, it makes perfect sense. But I think so many people either don't know that, because you still see them coiled up on campsites, or they don't really understand why. And it's exactly the same. People know that they need a fire extinguisher in their van, even though most of us don't have one in our house. But most people don't know how to use it properly. You just assume, exactly like I did, that you would press the lever and go.
And I think also, again, going back to the thing, it's not just about the extension cable, it's always what's plugged into it, because it's the current that it's drawing. Some things on there, you can have lots of things plugged in, and you know what, they'll be absolutely fine. Have a kettle in there, have a heater in there, different story, because it's pulling so much more charge, and that it's not acting like an electric bar fire almost. So that's one of the things to it. So I think that's one thing that we're keen to is that education, and hopefully we've had a great time. Plus you've been playing with fire as well.
I did get to play with fire. That was awesome. That was really good fun. That'll be out on my YouTube video. And I think one thing that was really cool about that was I thought I'd followed Serg's instructions really well. And actually, even when I did it, the fire still came back.
Yes.
And it shows, I mean, like you said, the normal traditional extinguisher has, what, 6 to 8 seconds, roughly. And if you did the depressing method, probably 12 maybe, or something like that.
Time, yes,
but,
right.
you know, the fire safety was 50. And that was more than enough time to figure it out a little bit better. 12 seconds, probably, I wouldn't have done it right.
I think what with the fire safety is, the thing is you can use it without panicking.
Yeah.
Now, it's a fire. You're going to be panicking. But you can just take your time, and it's their thing. And I think one of the reasons why we do the trough fire with petrol is because it's actually one of the hardest things to put out, because if you, depending on what you're doing, it will come back at you.
Yeah.
But you know what? Fine, plenty of time.
Yeah, it was good.
And that's it.
It was, and the lack of damage and residue and gunk afterwards shocked me. I mean, we put it over my shoes and nothing.
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
just, it was really, really good.
So I think so. Well, hopefully you've learned a few things.
I've learned lots. I've learned lots. Thank you very much for having me. I've also learned that I'm really, really bad at pool.
Oh, yes.
Without vodka. At some point I'll come back.
Right, we didn't supply the vodka, but you did do the 7-ball challenge and what have you.
I did badly.
Well, you did a respectable time, I think, to be fair, and what have you. So
I'm competitive. I want to come back. I'm going to practice and
well,
come
there
back.
you go. See that? In which case, do that. Definitely do that. We'll need that. We need to get some of the other YouTubers along with along with you. So we definitely sort that out.
I'll have to be practiced by then.
Absolutely. So obviously, you've got your YouTube channel. In fact,
I do.
To be honest, this is our YouTube channel. That's Kat's, basically. So you've got a great following on there. So
Thanks.
One thing I'll say. So what other social media channels are you on?
Well, my main thing is my website.
Right.
So that's how all this started. But I find myself much more fun in written form than on video. But I'm also, you can find me on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, and in my Facebook group.
Okay, we'll include all the links on the YouTube if you're watching that.
Yeah.
What have you. And I think also, because there's some great stories in there, obviously, about all the journeys you've done all over Europe and what have you. And it's really think, but also the advice. But the one thing that I really am impressed with is the Facebook group that you've got going.
Yep. The Wandering Bird Facebook group,
So you need to check this out, because the great thing about this is obviously your story's on there as well, of course, but it's a great community.
Yes, it is, and it was something I was really passionate about building. I got so tired of going to other Facebook groups, and don't get me wrong, there's some fantastic ones out there, but there are so many people who ask beginner questions. Everybody starts somewhere. And I wanted a place where people could ask beginner questions and not be ridiculed or get a sarcastic response because where else do you ask people these basic things? And it's brilliant because in my group I've got some incredibly knowledgeable, very experienced motorhomers and road trippers, and then people who have literally just put down their first deposit on their first van, and in fact some people who are still looking even, and who absolutely don't know anything. And it's this brilliant sort of coming together of experience and total novices. But what I really love is the helpful atmosphere. Because even if people have only had their van 6 months, but say they've gone to Cornwall or they've gone to Scotland, and then somebody else who might have had their van 4 years but haven't been to those places, those people who are newer can still share their experiences. And it's a really lovely community. I'm really proud of it.
One thing, the examples I've seen is that, again, somebody's completely new to it has asked a question, and you know what? Obviously, yes, you'll have the more experienced ones help answer them and advise them and give their opinion on it. And I say it's their advice, not so much their strong opinion. So everybody's open to it. But equally, you'll get somebody on there who's had the van for, as you said there, a few weeks, and had that same question a few weeks ago, and they said, well, actually, this is what we've done, this is what we've done. And I think it's great. You've got such cross section there. So I think, again, we'll include a link there, because I think people are into sort of the caravans and motorhomes. I think they need to see that forum, because I think it's great information on there for people.
Yeah, I'm really pleased. It's a really nice, friendly group where people can come at whatever stage they're at of motorhoming, campervanning, caravanning. We've got plenty of caravanners in there, and just ask questions and get involved with helping each other out without the fear of the sarcastic ridicule. Which I don't allow it.
No, exactly,
I'm not having it.
So definitely worthwhile. So you've got that. Obviously, we've got the NEC show coming up. So you've got a busy time there ahead of you, and what have you.
I do. And then it's off on adventures.
Exactly. So look out for it on the different stages and what have you, advice centres and what have you. So right now, let's see if I can get and obviously thank you, great for coming along and what have you. So it's been fantastic. So
I appreciate
let's see if I can get Serg back. So
nope, still here.
Oh, hang on a minute. And we're back. It worked that time.
Did it? Am I back?
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay.
See, the power I've got in these fingers, I can just click like that. It's amazing. I wonder if there's anything else I could...
See what I've got to work with.
Do you know what? I've just had an idea.
He does this all the time. What?
That plate.
Here we go.
No?
Didn't work.
Okay, try again. Right, can you now go and get the plate?
You do know this is a podcast.
Yes, go on.
So why are we doing this?
No, go and get the plate.
Oh dear. Oh.
Right. You've got to be impressed with that, surely.
Amazing. Amazing, all I'm going to say.
I bet they never saw the join at all, did they?
Oh dear.
Anyway.
Things that keep you happy.
Exactly. So what else? We've got the shows coming up. What else have we got coming up?
I've got some trips abroad.
Yeah.
Expansion of Fire Safety Stick into other countries.
Yeah.
Which is going to keep me busy. So hopefully by then we would build up the team a bit more.
Yeah.
So we have some vacancies to join us.
Yeah.
Hopefully, as I said.
Exactly.
We'll start building up.
I'm going to go and visit Bicester Scramble and the Race Retro again, to the places where the fire safety stick's very key in that sector.
He's off on a jolly.
Yeah, it might be. And then so it'll be good to again catch up with some of the distributors there again. To hopefully get some more interviews there. I just want to say also a big thank you to Kat for joining us. It's been really good to have her on board today. So make sure you follow her socials. Now, one thing I was going to say to Serg earlier is, it's very interesting, the fact that I was chatting with Kat today, is that somebody who's very knowledgeable and has got the experience in the motorhome sector. And it just shows that, and she admits it herself, their knowledge of fire safety is so limited. And I think that's why we're so keen to get more of that fire education out there.
I was going to say, obviously, with our background within the fire industry, this is the whole purpose.
Yeah.
If we're here about education. We're going to be educating people about fire awareness and different things, not necessarily selling the product, but then we're launching our slogan.
Well, this is what we're leading on to.
Oh,
actually.
is it? Oh, is that what you were doing? Oh, I thought you were just literally okay.
No, nothing. So yes, what we want to do is obviously, it's great people using the fire safety stick for fires that happen in their motorhome, in their cars, motorsport, things like that. But as we always said, it's getting it into people's homes, and so it can then truly be a potentially a lifesaver device, really.
Yeah.
And
so
I think
our slogan
is going to be
3 words, save someone's life. So we're going to be trying to almost start a movement where we're going to be doing educational pieces.
Yep.
And just safety tips, fire safety awareness, fire safety tips. We've got all this, big problem with electric scooters, electric bikes, and all sorts. Electric cars. So we're going to be doing some tips on safety. As I said, it's not all about selling the fire safety stick.
Correct.
It's about fire awareness.
Yeah, correct. In fact, I've already started to put some of the blogs together. In fact, one of them is actually why you still need to carry a regular fire extinguisher or a fire extinguisher in electric vehicles. So obviously not so much for the batteries that are doing the drivetrain, but of course you've still got a 12-volt system in those electric cars. Yeah. And they are still at risk of potential fire.
Yeah. I was going to say, there's some interesting products coming up that are on the market, that are getting bigger, that we're going to be almost endorsing, not endorsing, but just putting to the test and actually saying, look, people should have it. So, the caravan one, we want to be educating them because you've got the risks of laptops, phone chargers, and so on. So there's a little pack that we're going to put together with a fire safety stick, it's almost like a satchel. So if your laptop goes on fire, it can slip in there. You can zip it up. We're going to work on it. We're going to have a dedicated extinguisher that is for lithium batteries.
Yes, I think that is absolutely crucial because obviously in the motorhomes, more and more of them are having lithium batteries as part of their leisure battery for the vehicle. So absolutely.
Yeah. It's just a bit of education as well and awareness. So we're going to hopefully by the time February comes, we might we might be able to launch it at the show where it's a safety pack.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. This is actually quite good because this is it's going to put a deadline to us doing it.
Yes. We've really got to get it done.
We've got so much we have to get done.
Exactly. Well, I think, you know what, we've covered quite a bit today, actually, so I think we'll call it a wrap there now.
Good.
Okay, and we'll start getting some... I think it was great to get Hamcat on board today, so make sure you do follow our socials, and we'll see what interviews we can get lined up for the next one.
No worries.
There we go.
Perfect.
That's great.
See you in episode 5.
Yes, exactly. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.